Hello, hello, Nomads, and welcome to the Nomads of Fantasy, episode 42. I am David, your resident drunken monk halfling, and this week's host, and I am here with two of my pals, Mr. Eric.
The rules of ball tag are as complex as they are beautiful.
Oh, it's fantastic. And Brandon.
Trying to find a rhyme for dead dragon, because I guess we're killing one?
Very nice, very nice. And we're here to talk about the very fresh Critical Role's The Legend of Vox Machina. Just finished season 1, just released a couple, last week, I guess, and out on Amazon Prime. And we're here to talk about that. But before we get diving in everywhere, let's do a quick around the horn. Why don't you guys tell me what you've been up to? We'll go with Brandon first.
I watched Free Guy on Disney Plus, the Ryan Reynolds.
Just got added.
It's good. It's silly. It's a video game humor that's 80% funny, 20% what producers kind of what they think is funny to video gamers. So
right.
Some
is it like
bits for
people who play video games, or is it like, we find some of the stuff kind of cringy?
My wife enjoyed it. I mean, I think watching Ryan Reynolds on TV was a big selling point, but she...
Oh yeah, anything with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, of course.
But she, I think she got a lot of the jokes, Portals makes an appearance a few times, there's a portal gun, or they go through portals. So whenever they do, it's one color, and the one, it's the two colors, the blue and the orange. So
he's basically like an NPC in a game, and he basically becomes sentient or something like that.
I didn't know much about the plot going into this, but it's fairly simple. He's an NPC, and he just does his own thing, but he's drawn to, honestly, you know what, it's better to just go into this without knowing anything. I think it's kind of silly, but I'll say one thing: the stuff that happens outside of the video game world is vastly inferior. I couldn't get into it. I didn't mind how it all comes together later on, but I couldn't get into it, and I really like the stuff that took place in the game. I think Ryan Reynolds was actually really good in this, so I think it's funny. But there's a couple of jokes that just don't kind of land. But overall, I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again just to see. There's so much stuff in the background. You just see a car going by, and then the colors of the car are just constantly changing. That's because somebody's probably just changing the colors. You're an NPC, so when the camera's on him, there's action going on off in the distance, often blurred out and stuff like that. But it's cool. It's fun. You guys definitely would enjoy it. So
I thought I saw it on Hulu too. So they must have gotten a couple.
I know it's on HBO
spots.
and Disney Plus right now.
That might be it.
In early 2022. Yeah, but that's all I did. Other than that, I've just been jamming out in Ghost of Tsushima, but talked about that enough. So, but oh my God, what have you guys been up to? It wouldn't happen to be Elden Ring, would it?
Yes, that's a good segue.
So much.
Good segue for us to talk about From Software's new game called Elden Ring. Kind of the talk of the video game world right now.
So hot.
As we're recording this. Oh yeah, came out, just last week. So everybody kind of in that gaming circle is playing that one right now. Dave and I have been playing a bit of it. I know Dave has played more than I have up to this point. I think I am, only 6 hours in. Dave,
I'm
what's your hour count so far?
25-ish. I did the dirty thing. I switched my location on my Xbox back to New Zealand so I could play Thursday. So you get an extra 12 hours on the East Coast if you just set your location back. And I don't think you can play online with that, but I put in a good chunk. That game it's like I think of it as like an alpha game where it kind of demands a lot of your time. You got it to get in there and to get fully into the game, because it does not hold your hand whatsoever. It's like the polar opposite of every other open world game that's coming out right now.
Typical Dark Souls fashion. You just kind of gotta figure out everything for yourself. They don't really explain a whole lot to you, and that's, I don't know, that's kind of the beauty of it a little bit, is just kind of exploring, finding weird, cool things that, I don't know, picking up items you might not necessarily know what they do, and just experimenting with a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, I think what kind of separates this game is the fact that it's open world, and they took that Soulsborne formula and blew it out into this crazy, huge, expansive, beautiful open world. And I think that's what really makes this game special.
Like the Soulsborne, I feel like stuff, like the Soulsborne stuff is just like really hard, third person hack and slash kind of stuff. Like that's
punishing, yeah.
But I mean, that's cool and all, but like there's not a lot of games that come out that don't just like that don't explain. Everything's got a, I don't know. I referred to it as like icon vomit, where like, Far Cry's and the Assassin's Creeds are brutal with it.
It's like Ubisoft does this.
Oh yeah.
Where it's just like so, and like
turn it all off.
Somebody, I forget who it was, it might have been an IGN guy, was talking about like, is it really like open world if they're telling you where to go all the time, and they're telling you what to do, and like this just kind of like just drops you in and just you go fucking figure it out, dummy. And it's just
I mean there's a vague guiding light that sort of points you towards the main path, but like you can literally, when you start out and they drop you in that open world, you can literally go any direction. This comparison I feel like is already a little bit tired, but like it's hard not to make the Breath of the Wild comparison to this game, because you can literally go in any direction you want.
It's the same thing.
They
give you the four corners of the map or whatever. Those are like the giant, I forget what the beasts were called in there.
The divine
beasts, yes. And they just say, figure it out. Like, go do it. And then you just kind of go off and, you learn the rules of the world pretty quick. Like, I mean, there is some, like, they tell you what the buttons do, and they tell you, what certain items do here or there. But, like, other than that, it's kind of, like, up to you to figure out. And, like, the part I think that makes it so immersive and intense, really, like, because the graphics aren't anything crazy. Like, I don't know, you see somebody's arm move, and like it looks like their sleeve is made out of like cardboard pieces, because you can like literally see the bends in the polygons going, like, and like that's does not look great, but like from a distance, like the vistas and everything are absolutely fantastic. The way they use lighting and fog effects, where like you're riding through a swamp, and then all of a sudden you see some bodies hanging from trees, and then the fog creeps in. You're like, oh fuck, shit's about to pop off right now.
Yeah, I feel like these Soulsborne games have never like been graphical showcases or anything, but like they are designed so well, like from the world design to the enemy design to character design. Like everything is just designed so well and so intentional. It just makes it so unique and interesting. Like we were saying, like there's literally hundreds of different types of enemies in this game, and each of them have their own attack patterns and things that they're weak to, and
any one of them can kill you. Like, it's not like a Goomba. Like, a Goomba is gonna, like, Mario's just gonna stomp on his head and keep going on his way. Like, they have these, it's like this weird nightmare fuel where it's like, I keep thinking of like Pan's Labyrinth, where it's like unsettling kind of weirdness to look at, but like this is a deep cut, but like came out in like the early 2000s, the Jennifer Lopez movie The Cell, where it was just like weird nightmare dreams, but like you can't look away because it's just so cool sometimes. But like birds with swords like grafted onto their legs that like do backflips and like you get killed by little scrub enemies sometimes, which is
and in one part of the map there's this beautiful lush green fields with like, I don't know, bunnies and deer and eagles soaring through the sky, and then the next part you're in like this hell world with these like demon dogs and these giant murder crows that are trying to kill you.
The demon dog, like it was like a T-Rex with like the head of a dog and like razor teeth, and it just comes at you super quick, trying to just eat you and your ghost horse. It is just But the fact that you can get killed by anything adds a level of, I don't know, butt clenching to everything, where you're like super intense and you're low on your little potion things that you get everywhere. And you're just looking out for looking for a little yellow glimmer anywhere that you can find it to try and find a bonfire.
This is what I think people are attracted to with From Software games, is when you get to what do they have? They have
bonfires.
Bonfires in this? Yeah.
Well, it's like circles of grace, or
they're like points of grace, yeah, whatever they're called.
But yeah, because if you die, you lose everything, so it's high risk, high reward.
I mean, you can get back pretty quick.
You can get them back
if you get back to your body, but if you're far away and you're in deep and you get swarmed and surrounded, like it's some work sometimes to get your stuff back.
I think the mentality of this is like the only thing you lose is in this game it's runes, and Dark Souls it's souls, blah blah blah. It's like the currency you used to level up and buy items and stuff. That's the only thing you lose. You don't lose like items that you have in your inventory or anything. So the way you got to think about it is like you can always get more of those. So you can't be too upset if you end up losing them. And I feel like that's kind of where I ran into a bit of trouble when I was playing. I think I played like Dark Souls 3 back in the day. Like I just got so pissed that I lost like a bunch of souls one time and just rage quit and never went back to it. But I've just kind of changed my mentality with these games.
It's tough because you see that number and you're like, that's like half a level right for me right now. And you're like, if I lose that, But there are guys that, if you wanted to farm, there's spots where you can just kill a giant crab, get 1,000, go back and save, and just be done with it. But that's a weird intensity of trying to not lose your stuff, and
it's cool give and take,
not get murdered,
because like you might fight this giant enemy and defeat him and use all of your potions or whatever, and then you go back to your point of grace to regain your potions, but that enemy is going to be back as well. Like it respawns all the enemies too once you
so you don't feel bad
go at the rest point.
You don't feel bad riding past people. Like that's the one thing that does kind of bug me is like everything. I think all the treasure chests are set with whatever. So like that treasure chest is going to have that thing every time you go there. A lot of times, you'll struggle through a boss. You get that. I mean, the XP or the runes or whatever makes it worth it. But a lot of times you get like a sword that you need like a 30 strength with it. And that's literally the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. So things aren't like items aren't crafted specifically for you when you're opening up treasure chests and stuff like that. But like I've opened up a chest, got teleported. A lot of this happened to a couple people I've heard say it. You get teleported to like the complete other side of the map in some weird demon mine, and there's like these weird centipede things that murder you instantly. But you get out there and you wander around and you find like some nasty stuff, and it's literally like walking out of a cave into the gates of hell, like you said. Like sky is red.
True.
There's like weird dirt monsters. Like it's
dude, yeah.
Good.
I just went through this random portal that I found in a bush, and it transported me to like this crazy world with this huge fucking thing that I snuck around, but then some other little enemy killed me in one hit, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can't go there.
Yeah. So I mean, graphically, it's not the craziest. Like when you're talking to a character, their mouths don't line up with what they're saying. Like sure, like there's little animation stuff.
It's also a Japanese game. Like it's probably just the translation.
Yeah. Like
the AI. I see what you're saying with that.
I just meant the lip syncing thing.
Like I guess the AI is like this in all the Souls games. I've never really gotten too far into one because, I mean, I just haven't had the time. But this is, a great jumping in point for me because, like, the nice part about it is that it's open world. So in a Dark Souls, where like, you have to beat a boss,
limited,
and like you have to go
linear. Yeah.
This one, you get bored. You just, there's no map markers anywhere. There's no quest. There's no quest screen in your pause menu. There's nothing. So you're literally like searching around the map. You can put down markers where you meet a NPC or where you meet a shopkeeper or whatever like that, because they're sprinkled in throughout the world. But like you run into a boss that you can't beat, screw it. Go wander around this way. Come back, 10 levels. Show them what's what.
Yeah, exactly. I think the horse really changes the combat in this game as well, because like There are some enemies where you could just really cheese it with the horse combat, which I've been doing a lot. Like you can just kind of ride past them, swipe at them, and then run away with your horse, and then circle around and do another swipe. So like some stronger enemies and like, you know, that you normally would kick your ass in like a normal Dark Souls game, you could actually like take them out just by cheesing them on the horse a little bit.
How was your class setup? What did you start with?
I started with the Vanguard, so I'm just going for like a tank.
Sword and shield guy?
Like two-handed. Yeah, sword and shield, yep. I'm dumping a little bit because the Vanguard starts with kind of lowish to mid-tier magic, so I'm dumping a little bit points into magic so I can have like a secondary backup there. But for right now, I'm just kind of tanking it with a sword and shield.
So I went complete opposite with I went all magic. But
yeah,
still be able to switch to sword and shield and, you know, handle business a little bit. So I think you got to have a little bit of both. But people are putting some time into it. It is getting, I mean, it is not a game for everybody, but it is a good game at what it is trying to do. Like, you know, it's an experience. It's like I don't know, it takes some, you know, dedication and to like, you know, to explore the world and to build your character up and to get through all this stuff. So
I think with any of these type of games, like the Souls games, you kind of have to play by their rules to enjoy it, or else you're going to kind of beat your head against a wall and give up really quickly.
Well, I think the open world helps with that, not quitting. So
right, for sure. Yeah, because like Dave said, you can just, if you're getting your ass kicked by a boss, you can literally just turn around and go a completely opposite direction.
And there's like
I'm
sorry. Like just going in that opposite direction, like you're saying, like the art design in this game is like so creative and off the wall crazy. Like
the giant tree and the giant monsters.
And like so much
cool stuff to look at.
Enemies are insane and environments are cool and there's castles on hills everywhere. It's just like it's like a fever dream, fantasy fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I could go on and on, but yeah, we don't.
Yeah, I've definitely only scratched the surface. I mean, there's reviews out there, people playing 60 hours and they still haven't beat the game yet, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever beat this game, but I'm having a great time with it right now. So
yeah, and I feel like if I take time off, that like it's gonna take me longer to get back into it if I'm taking time off to, you know, because like I said, there's no quest log or anything. So on one hand, it's nice that, you know, you have to be in the world and immersed in it to remember things. I almost feel like you need a side diary or something like that. But yeah, it's gonna take a chunk of time to beat. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm loving it. We'll see how long it goes for, but it's good.
I got two big open world games to sink my teeth into now. I got this Elden Ring and Cyberpunk. I still want to keep going on as well, just because I don't know. I've been into it lately and I don't want to slow down on that either. But I feel like that one is easier to like put down and then come back to, as opposed to Elden Ring. So I'll probably have that as kind of my palate cleanser in between. But yeah, it's a good time to be a gamer and to like video games.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up everything I've been doing. Eric, do you have anything left?
No. Do you guys know the show on Netflix called Love is Blind? Have you guys seen that or watched that at all?
I think my wife has watched it. I might have watched an episode or two of that.
I've been watching it with my wife. We watched the first season and the second season just came out. It's just like your garbage reality TV show, but that's kind of like one of my guilty pleasures, like TV wise, like dumb.
Yeah, they're talking on other sides of screen. They can't see each other, but they're talking to each other. Yeah.
The conceit is kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. It's like a social experiment. Basically, short rundown. I won't go too long into this at all, but you got like a group of guys and girls, and they're in this building, and they basically get to like speed date each other, but there's a wall in between them, so they can only talk to each other. They can't see each other, so they basically have to, you know, figure out who they want to get together with solely based on the conversations that they have and everything. So it's kind of an interesting experiment.
No ugly people on the show.
In the second season, I feel like they tried to
diversify,
incorporate some more
pretty boobs out there. Okay, that's
exactly. But yeah, it's interesting. And then at the end, if they choose someone, they go on like a honeymoon and they live together for a couple weeks and then decide if they want to get married or not. So it's interesting.
Sounds like a real tough life. That's what reality is like. I had to go date somebody behind a screen for 3 weeks, but
yep. Right. So I just threw that one out there because it's a fun little thing that I've been watching.
Nice. Well, good. All right.
But yeah, that was all I had.
Well, I think it wraps up everything for now. We'll take a little break, finish up Act 1, and we're going to come back in Act 2 with some Vox Machina right after this. Hello, and we are back for Act 2 to discuss the Legend of Vox Machina. This is Amazon Prime show that just came out from the people over at Roll20. Fresh in 2022. Don't know when you're listening to this, but that's when we're at. But, before we dive into the summary, we check in on social real quick. Eric, you got some stuff for us over on the socials?
Yeah, I got a couple little things. You can, people. Yeah, a couple people. Got a couple. Actually, my uncle Ken, which is actually the person who recommended us to watch this show.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you, Uncle Ken.
I appreciate the recommendation because I think we all enjoyed it. But he says he's a longtime critter, which is what the fans call themselves.
Okay.
The storyline that they picked for the first season is very well done and keeps pretty close to the original D&D stream while eliminating some of the mundane parts. Some of the scenes are exactly like I imagined them in my head. The Triceratops scene is one of my favorite scenes in animation and in the original stream. So that was
nice.
It's a cool little anecdote there. And this only other one on Twitter is from Drinks and Things podcast, and they say, watch the original D&D campaign and most of the animated series. Love it. Vex for life. Oh, Vex is life. Sorry.
Oh.
But yeah,
sure.
That's all we got there. But yeah,
nice.
if you want to get in touch with us on social, you can find us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Nomads of Fantasy, all that good stuff.
Well, thank you, Eric. I guess we can get into it. I toss over to Brandon. Can you give us like a little bit of a synopsis of what we're about to talk about? I know some people may not know what it is at all.
Yeah, I mean, I will actually be the person who is kind of new to all this, because if you're hearing this for the first time, you're like me, right? There's been some buzz probably about this show, Legend of Vox Machina. It's an animated show. It's a fairly mature show with crude humor.
Definitely adult, lots of violence.
Extreme violence, and it's all animated. It kind of looks like the other show on Amazon.
Remind me a lot,
It's very reminiscent of Invincible.
Yeah, or a little Castlevania from Netflix. So, but anyways, Dave, this takes place in the Dungeons and Dragons world, correct?
It's based off of a D&D campaign that people over at
Critical Role.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where you're going to get your gnomes and your elves and your half-elves and your wood elves and your humans and your all the different races and different classes. Sure. And all. And this one can do magic. This one can do arrows. This one unlocks doors better than others. So it has all those things that you've heard of with Dungeons and Dragons with the role playing and stuff like that. So what's cool though is, so I don't know how old this is. I probably should have done more research, learning more about where it came from. But I just watched the show, and here we are talking about it. But from what I looked at, there's these voice actors they're just voice actors. They do voice acting for movies and video games or whatever, and maybe some movies and stuff like that. But they also are just like nerds. They just like Dungeons and Dragons. So it seems they've been doing this for a while, right? And they just kind of got bigger and bigger to the point where here we are watching it as a highly animated show on Amazon.
The Dungeon Master is Matt Mercer, and I guess he made it for his 2012 personal, like his, Dungeons and Dragons campaign, but then launched the actual gameplay series with Critical Role in 2015.
What's Critical Role?
That's just the name of their right now it's they created their own production company called Critical Role, and they're producing like these campaigns. There's these D&D campaigns that they're streaming and this show. So they kind of created their own production company around this whole idea. But yeah, Critical Role was kind of what they called themselves, just as a collective for their D&D campaigns. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. They streamed all of they're up to their third campaign now. They completed their first and second campaign. The first one they started streaming it back in 2015, and it went all the way through 2017, which just before this, I was watching a little bit of like the first episode of the first campaign, and it's pretty interesting that like watching all these professional voice actors, and it just makes it so much more immersive because they're doing like the voices and everything, the voices from the show, the voice actors, Yeah, no,
that's I think the big selling point to me.
Yeah, the characters from the show are the actual, voice actors. Yeah, so it's really cool. And like Matt Mercer, I mean, all of these voice actors have been in tons of video games. Like Matt Mercer is McCree from Overwatch. He was in he's in a ton of stuff. You look at his IMDb, it's like flooded with video games. So he's the Dungeon Master, and he's doing all these different voices of like different NPCs and everything.
It's good to have the voices. You gotta have it. You gotta have that.
Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting that they turned this campaign into like an actual full-fledged animated show.
It's weird because I'd never watched any of Critical Role, but I played D&D a lot. We just finished a 2-year campaign that started when the pandemic started, like over on Roll20, and like a lot of all the spells they're casting and all the tropes that they have to run through sometimes are very familiar. You can see where where failed rolls come in, and that kind of stuff, where it all makes sense. Like it's like telling a D&D story, which is every time I play it, I always want to like commission artistry about like what I see in my head as to like what we just played, or like shit like that. And
well, how cool is it for these guys to have this happen? That to me, I mean, I'm a designer, right? I love the production of this from the foundation that it's people who give their talent to other productions, and collectively they had a shared passion, which was D&D. And what better hobby for a group of voice actors than Dungeons and Dragons, where you can do the voices? But it's your campaign, and you guys came with your characters, and no producer, nobody else touched this. So it's like they made it, and then when they pitched the idea of having this as an animated show for like just maybe like one episode, just like one thing, and I think the production companies were like, nah, and it fell through. So then they go to Kickstarter, and they're like, we just wanted, I don't know, what do they want? They wanted,
I think it was like 750,000,
700,000, right?
750,000.
I mean, it's a good penny. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then they were like, all right, let's just go for it, I guess. And they got like 11 million at one point. Yeah. And then Amazon just like, how about we just do this together? And here we are. And it's what a dream come true. And it's just cool to see people getting together on their own, with their own dream, their own passion. And then here they go and they make
just
something.
Like their own creativity just kind of coming out as they come up with the stories, because like just the one-liners and the stuff that comes out of the stories, like it just makes me laugh, because it's all stuff that I could see happening in our own campaigns. Mm-hmm. Even like the gruesome violence. There's a lot of gruesome violence in D&D. Yeah, people getting chopped in half and all that sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I'm super new to D&D. I've just started listening to the Adventure Zone, the McElroy's Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Those are great.
And like now that I've been listening to that more, like I am starting to learn like the language and the mechanics of how D&D actually works. And like Dave said, just watching this show, I'm like, okay, that was probably a fucking perception check or a death saving throw or, you know, a dexterity saving throw. Like all this stuff. It's so cool just to know a little bit more about the mechanics. And I think it makes you appreciate it a little bit more. So I thought that was really cool. And it makes me want to play D&D.
The classes are all, you know, straight from the book. You got Vex is like the ranger or
rogue,
you know,
or no, that's
rogue.
Vex. That's Vex. Yeah, Vex and Vex, the twins. Yep. Grog the barbarian, Scanlan's the bard.
You got the gnome bard. Yeah, you know, it's all.
I think having a bard was a very interesting touch because when do you ever see that portrayed? It's always like you get the archer, you get the dwarf, you get the wizard,
the mage, yeah.
But you don't get to see
music is magic,
bard.
motherfucker.
Yeah, I love that.
Like they used him a lot for a lot of the comedic one-liners,
which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, but it fits with the personality. So
yeah, I feel like each character kind of is distinct and got their moment throughout the first season and everything, which I really appreciated. But yeah, I don't know if we want to do a spoiler tag here and kind of get into the story.
Yeah, I think we all recommend the show. So at this point, like we're going to get into some of the plot and don't want to ruin it. I think just go in, just enjoy yourself. It's a fun animated show. And the episodes are only 25
minutes.
20, yeah,
and there's
super short.
12 of them.
12 episodes, yep.
I thought it felt better watching them like in chunks of like 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah.
Like, there came a point, you know, we had to get this done. I'd watch like 5 or 6 of them in one night. I'm like, this is a little much.
Well, it's also like
2 or 3 at a time is a good pace.
The way that it's broken up too kind of allows that, because like in the first section, I mean, the first thing they do is go and fight that dragon, and that's like the first 2 episodes. And then the second section is, you know, we're introduced to the Briarwoods and all this stuff. So like they are kind of chunked out in that way. So it kind of makes sense to watch them, which that's how they were actually released as well. Like they released 3 at a time.
Okay. 3 at a time, yeah.
Okay.
For 4 weeks. So each like 3 episode chunk is kind of its own self-contained
which is like an hour
story, and then they move on to something else.
Yeah, it's like an hour of story right there for you. So just like 1 hour a night for 3 nights, and then you'll be through the show.
Mm-hmm.
Did I do my math right there? 3.
There's a little.
There's one more.
We're doing it out a little bit, but yeah.
There's 12 episodes.
All right. Spoiler spotty here. Find a good who's got a good summary on their screen?
I can just start going off the top of my head here.
Sure.
Basically, we're introduced to this band of mercenaries who calls themselves Vox Machina. And we first see them in kind of a bar, and they're all getting a little tipsy, and they start this drunken bar fight. And you know, it's a good introduction to each of their characters and each of their skill sets, and you know, each class that they are and everything. But the first main conceit is that I forgot what the ruler of the land's name is. It's like Uriel something or other. But they're kind of looking for a group of mercenaries to defeat this dragon that has kind of been tormenting the countryside. So they're down on their luck. They need a little bit of money. They're running short on cash. So they find this flyer that is, you know, looking for a band of mercenaries to help out with this problem. So they go up and get the details and go out and try to fight this crazy blue electric dragon.
Which doesn't turn out too well for him, because probably not high enough level to be messing with a dragon. No. But like level 6, 7, that range.
Yeah, I'm sure they're pretty low level by now. But and like it's funny because I thought this dragon was gonna kind of be like the main MacGuffin throughout the first season, because like you said, they go and find this dragon in the first episode of the series, and they get their asses absolutely handed to them. So I thought, you know, the whole series would kind of be building up to this final fight with this dragon, and that would be the main villain throughout the entire thing. But I was kind of pleasantly surprised that the dragon only lasted until like the second episode, and they were able to take him out.
Just leave the dragon alone. Hopefully the dragon's just happy eating villagers for a little bit and come back when you go up a couple levels.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the part of the dragon was to establish our characters and their personalities.
Definitely,
because they're introduced as like a band of misfits. Like, how the hell did these guys all end up together?
The comparison I keep drawing is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, absolutely.
That's what I keep going back to.
The one character acts like Groot, you know? Mm-hmm. She just does all the stuff, but there's also like the giant guy and the little guy together.
Grog is definitely, what the fuck's his name? Drax.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. But Grog is definitely Drax, like, you know, big, dumb, gullible dude. But yeah, there's just tons of parallels to Guardians, which I got a kick out of.
Yeah. But anyways, the dragon scene ultimately ends up kind of building some character. Like, you're introduced to, is it Vex? He's the brother archer, or
Vax. Vax is the dude.
Is the
and
dude,
Vex
and the sister is Vex.
Yep.
Okay, so Vax, gives a coin to a kid in the village and stuff like that. And you should think they're all just kind of insensitive, out of touch people, like a band of misfits. But it's introduced early that he has a soft spot, and taking out the dragon, with the coin and stuff like that, because it kills the kid, and he felt bad, and so there's some heart to them as we see with the other characters. But
lets you know that they're not just irredeemable assholes.
Yeah, you could have watched a whole season of jerks.
Oh yeah.
If they all acted like, what's his face, the little guy.
It's always Sunny.
Scanlan. Yeah.
It's always Sunny in Exandria.
But yeah, I like that. I just like that they added something positive about these characters, so I can get behind somebody, and then they kind of added on to that as the series went on.
Start building the relationships between Vex and the druid.
Keyleth was her name. Yep.
I'm gonna be terrible with
Kiki for short, if you if you can remember that one.
That is good. But no, yeah, they start setting it up things where you see that Grom and the druid have like a brother-sister relationship with each other. They kind of build on that over the season too. So, every character's got their little arc that they go through.
One thing I really liked is with this show, they didn't just split everybody up. Not right away. They did. They took Pike away at one point because she had to go find herself and do some Gandalf the Grey shit.
For a decent amount of the series, she's gone.
Apparently,
she is gone.
The voice actor did have like conflicts with it, and that's part of the reason why.
Oh,
the story changed with that.
Interesting.
Okay, because
something out there about that.
Out of 7 characters, like only one's kind of gone, and she's doing like this side thing. But other than that, like everybody was together, which is cool. We didn't have 2 here. We didn't do like a Game of Thrones thing or something like that, where these 2 characters are doing this story, and these 2 are doing, and everybody's all over the place. This is what I like about.
They're all
D&D.
sticking together.
It's like a video game or anything with this kind of stuff. It's
a party.
It's a party. You need the berserker guy, the tank guy, or whatever with the healer, and it's just cool to see them all constantly. It's like Avengers, where they all have their different strengths and weaknesses, and getting them together to do their abilities, but for a whole season. And the one kind of says like, "Yo, you got to be the healer while I'm out for a little bit." When Pike left, so Kiki took over a little bit, and she kind of grew, which is really nice. Also, it's just, I don't know, the animation of the show is really good. Like, I really like the animation. They did not.
I wonder if it's the same studio as Invincible, because
I looked it up because I thought it's not. It's actually not. No, because I looked it up because I'm like, I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, this has to be
a little more anime touch to this, though, I guess.
But yeah, it's not. They aren't connected to that at all. I looked up the studio. I forgot what the studio is actually called, but they've done like tons and tons of work on like video games and cartoons and like all kinds of stuff. I couldn't really find one thing that they're like known for, just because they have so many different credits. But Like it's pretty impressive the amount of stuff that they've worked on, but it's cool. I'll have to look up the name of that studio to give them some credit. But yeah, it's
nice.
But yeah, it's really cool. The animation is awesome. I was pretty invested in the story. I feel like in episode 3 we kind of are introduced to the main villains in the Briarwoods.
They come back they basically kill the dragon in episode 2 and then come back episode 3.
Yep. They're kind of being celebrated. They're invited to this party with all the different nobles from different countries and territories coming in to have this party and celebrate.
Yeah, and you learn that Percy has got something going on.
Percy's kind of becomes like the main focus of the series throughout the rest of the season. And kind of his backstory and what happened to him in his past. Basically, these Briarwoods killed his family and took over his home of Whitestone. It
gets pretty intense pretty quick.
Yeah, he's got this vengeance out for them, and seeing them kind of reinvigorated this vengeance that he's had deep down inside him throughout his entire life. And
I think you see at the beginning of that one that like the guy is actually a vampire too when he's like murdering people. Like, so something's going on. There's
Silas.
some sort of trickery, some sort of dark magic going on there. They're not good. Having vampires take over and murder your
friggin' vampires, man.
Never good.
Never good. Oh, the name of the animation studio is Titmouse Inc., by the way.
Come on.
It's a bird. Don't get your mind out of the gutter. But
that's great.
But yeah, they've done a bunch of stuff. Apparently, they're working on a boys animated series for Amazon Prime.
Okay. Which I did hear about this actually.
About that,
yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. I think that will suit them very well with the amount of violence that we see in this show.
Yeah. So you're introduced to the Briarwoods. They are scumbags, and the story kind of goes after Percy's passed and kind of like, why is he so angry? And we do see some flashbacks about how they got taken out. So like, okay, we get it. But they're vampires, and it seems like nobody knows they're vampires. Is that true?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're basically just have the power to control, whoever they want to. Yeah, they can take over their minds, which they did to the ruler of the kingdom. God, I'm terrible with the names, but
Uriel.
Yeah, Uriel. They kind of took over his mind, and they made them condemn Vox Machina and everything. So they were kind of like quote unquote criminals in that home, and that's kind of why they left in pursuit of the Briarwoods in Whitestone to stop them and break the control that they had over him.
Okay, so the dragon was actually that Scottish voice guy. Remember, he was part of the.
He was. He was like their
Seven Uriel's, like
the general of their army or whatever.
Yeah. So was he under the influence of the Briarwoods then?
I think it was just
I don't think so. I think he was just doing his own thing.
He was just a scumbag.
Well, he had his whole
into a human, which was.
Well, he had his whole speech of like, oh, dragons used to rule these lands and everything. So he was just trying to take over this country and bring back the dragons, essentially.
Well, I mean, you get to it more towards the end of the season.
Oh, yeah, you get a stinger.
It all ties back in, so.
Okay, yeah, you're right, with the dragons. Okay, all right. Well, I thought there was a connection there, but there might be for all I know, but okay. So then it just totally just changes plot. Mm-hmm. And then it goes towards Percy's vengeance with the Briarwoods.
Finish one part of a campaign, and you got to kind of go on to another sometimes.
Yeah, okay. It was really interesting when they got to Whitestone, which is Percy's home, and the Briarwoods taking over and everything, because like it's complete. Well, we see a flashback of Percy and how he remembers Whitestone when he was a kid, and it's all lush.
Oh God,
I know it's going to be horrible right there.
Beautiful vistas and this giant tree in the middle, this giant sun tree in the middle, and everything. And yeah, when they get there, it's just all dead and decaying and decrepit. And then you got fucking you'll appreciate this, Brandon. It made me think of Attack on Titan with the giants and everything.
I got that too with these giant creatures.
Dude, yeah, they were like patrolling the streets and eating civilians and everything. Like it was pretty intense.
Oh, so if we're there, then if we're at Whitestone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in Whitestone, this is where Percy is introduced to like his first mission. He's like, you got to get was it Archie?
Mm-hmm.
You got to save him because he's kind of leading the resistance here.
Yeah, right.
His buddy that he grew up with,
We have
basically.
a real chance of reclaiming Whitestone here.
Are you sure you wanna? I mean, this town ain't even got any ale.
Aye, we've seen our share of dark days. But Percival de Rolo is back from the dead. If that won't inspire the people, nothing will.
Sorry, Archibald. Right now I'm only thinking about my sister.
Ugh. Guess they're a close-knit family, eh? You know what I'm saying?
Shut it!
I know you're eager to rally the troops, but Cassandra's my only family. I have to find her.
Percy, old friend, I reckon we can do both.
That's when they make their presence known to the Briarwoods, and then the Briarwoods do like a really fucked up thing. They
That was horrible.
like get these like people that look like the group, like Vox Machina. And some of them are little kids because, like, the little kids they're all humans. So they just take the little kids and it's like, all right, the little girl and the little boy look like the gnomes in Vox Machina. So they beat them up. You can tell by the scars, and then they hang them. They hang them on that big sun tree, right? That's what it's called. Yeah, they hang them on the big sun tree in the middle of town for everybody to see, and it's such a violent show. It does a lot of fucked up things, like when they go on a killing spree in one of the scenes when they are saving Archibald. That it's like those skeleton like things. They just start those wraiths with the armor, and they had to use like the light to weaken them so they could actually hit them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and they went to town. It got really violent, just showing how they were like killing those things, stabbing them and smashing them. And
D&D gets pretty nasty when you get into like the chaotic evil. People
Oh, okay.
And, like people like I don't
Does
know.
it?
It's not
Okay.
all. It's not all like Lord of the Rings is kind of like the nice shiny version of it. Like I don't know. I always think of D&D as like it can get gritty and dark and R-rated and all sorts of nasty shit can happen. So, but I mean, after that, you kind of the more as they get into the town, I guess you find out that Percy has some sort of connection with some sort of evil thing, and that kind of the demon, and that kind of goes from there basically. Where the next couple episodes are like his hit list.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
really cool.
he's got like the Arya Stark thing going on, where he's got these names of the people he wants to kill, but he's got the gun and he's just
spinning it. Yep.
looking in the sky, just like thinking about killing them. It's like, man, this guy's got issues.
In D&D terms, that would be known as a warlock level dip, where maybe he may be a certain class. I forget what they are. The inventor types, but you take a class or two of warlock, and it adds to your character a little bit, something like that, where you get a demon gun, maybe so that aligns very well with
cool
D&D kind of stuff too, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I like that they kind of got into his backstory on how that manifested of it, because like basically his vengeance for wanting to get revenge on these people that killed his family and all who were involved with it. He kind of invited this demon into his soul, and it's kind of a, I don't know. I guess it's a symbiotic relationship, because Percy needs help from this demon to help kill his targets, and this demon needs Percy to basically feed off of his soul. So he kind of unwilling or unknowingly lets him in, and kind of is carrying this demon throughout his entire life, which I just thought that was a really cool concept, and it's all tied to this weapon that he created, this pepper box that he has. So I don't know. I just love that about Percy's character and his backstory.
I think Percy's a cool character. I like when he goes in crazy mode and he puts his mask on and all the smoke comes out.
Yeah,
and he's like so violent with his pistol, and I thought it was super cool. And he just stands out because everybody has, you have like these archers, you have magic users, you have whatever, and then he's got a gun.
Well, he's just a human with a gun, really.
Yeah. Well, he's like super smart, I guess, and he's civilized and classy. Like in the beginning of the season, you see he's kind of more together, but by the end, he's just barely changes his voice. It goes very more monotone. The way he's talking, he's just full of rage. He's almost being consumed. Well, he practically does get consumed by this demon at the end, but.
And he's always seems like he's been the one that's kind of like, I mean, they're all a band of misfits, and they've never like. I feel like we see them grow their relationship as the season goes on, but Percy, I feel like, was always kind of the one on the outskirts and not trying to get too close to anybody, which makes sense more is revealed about his character.
Lady Allura, welcome. Hope you didn't feel the need to bring a housewarming present.
I didn't. Alas, I'm only here to remind you that Sovereign Uriel expects you at his dinner.
Oh shit, that's tonight.
Finally, a proper evening of protocol and civilized conversation.
It's more than a party. Dignitaries from across the realm are here to form a new security pact. We must put our best foot forward.
Right, which foot is that?
Hey, Pike, want to be my date? I promise to be on my best worst behavior.
Oh, I'm okay.
Lady Allura, we appreciate the gravity of the situation and will present ourselves with the utmost dignity.
Oh, yeah, good one. 75.
5? He was just at 2.
Oh, yeah, that was a 3-pointer. You see, the rules of ball tag are as complex as they are beautiful.
I shall brief them on royal etiquette and manners. You have my word, nothing will go wrong.
But by the end, he's kind of all in with the group after he expels the demon.
Yeah, towards the end, it starts to get pretty intense. They're basically like storming the castle with all the rebels, going to murder Vampire and his wifey. I forget their names.
Silas and Delilah.
There are so many names in this that I
There's
can't
a lot
even,
of names.
like. I mean, just the party themselves. How many are there?
I'm going to add another one for you, Dave. Cassandra.
Yeah.
This is about the time we find out that his sister survives, because he thought.
Yep.
He thought his sister died when they escaped, because his family got wiped out, and his sister and him, they were kept alive and being tortured by the vampires, and then they made their escape, and they shot the arrows, and they got her, and Percy kept going and left her because he thought she was dead, or at least a goner, and she never. So they used that against her to say, like, your brother left you, but we won't, kind of thing. And then they did them whole. Silas does this. That's his ability, right? He kind of takes over your mind.
Mm-hmm.
To a lot of people,
control you. Yeah.
So that's what he did to her, and he does that to a couple other Vox Machinas and stuff like that. But yeah, that's when we introduce Cassandra, and that's his sister, and we don't know if she's good or bad at all. It's actually kind of fucked up, because when we do get introduced to her,
yeah, it's pretty intense.
So they start, like you said, they're storming the castle, and Percy's he's kind of leading the charge or whatever a little bit, and he's got his pistol out, and he's got these names, and he kills the one guy, the first guy, the shorter guy,
Hammerfell or whatever his name is.
Stonefell.
What's his name? Stonefell.
Is Stonefell the little one?
He's the one with the little guy with the hammer.
Okay. Well, he takes him out with his pistol, but then the next guy has like a
silver tongue, Professor Anders.
Yeah, Anders, which was their tutor when Cass and Percy were kids.
But he slices her throat, Cassandra's throat, right in front of him. He's like,
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's like one of the first things he does when they encounter him, is that, he's just waiting there with her for them to come in, and right away just slices her throat. And that kind of sets him off into one of his crazy rage, weird, smoky, plague mask version of himself. So,
yep.
But yeah, that whole thing was pretty cool with Anders and his silver tongue. He was kind of doing the same thing that Silas was doing. He can kind of take over control of whoever he wants to, and force them to attack the rest of the party and everything. And he can also control like inanimate objects, apparently, because he brought these like suits of armor to life that were attacking them as well. Yeah, so
yeah, it was pretty close. Everybody was at that point. He was even taking over other people's minds, and they all were going against Percy.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
But then Percy
does the bank shot and just shoots his tongue right out.
Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was really cool.
Everybody comes back, hilarity ensues.
To work out all the angles.
Nice try, Derolo, but flattery will not prolong your life.
And yet it bought me all the time I needed.
But no, you get into the next episode and we get to Delilah and raising massive amounts of zombies.
Yeah, she just has a zombie army.
The one thing that we skipped was some of the Scanlan scenes that happen as he was providing a distraction this whole time while they're off murdering Silvertongue dude.
Yeah.
So he gets into a big fight with one of the number ones of the vampire guys.
It's the Duke.
That's the Duke. Okay.
The Duke.
Yeah.
Thank you. But no, some of that shit is pretty funny because just seeing a gnome fight a giant two-handed fighter dude that's trying to smash.
Dude, I love because he has this ability to. Yeah, he's always playing his guitar and he sings.
Got mage hand.
The songs are very quick too. It's not like he does a whole thing and kind of runs its gag. He only sings a verse and then it's over. But yeah, they're good. But I like when he uses this giant hand, this pink hand that shows up.
Hand.
Mage hand.
And he's fighting against the Duke, and to block his sword or his axe, whatever, he's got this giant middle finger to block it.
Yeah,
and he's just using that to fight, and then I just like how he uses the humor to also fight people. He's good comic relief. I think some of the jokes are a bit too crude for me. It took a little bit to be like, all right,
a little thick sometimes.
It's a little too. It's is this aimed at teenagers? I think it is. I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm liking this, but it's very lowbrow.
There's a lot of ball and dick humor and stuff like that.
It kind of ruined it a little bit in the beginning, but after a while, you kind of get used to it. But
it's just, I just accept it as that's his character. That's his thing.
Yeah.
No, it's everywhere though. It's everybody. Everybody's just always got a dirty joke to make or.
That's kind of all I heard.
Well, they were literally playing ball tag.
Yeah.
A lot of the stupid shit is just stuff that just happens when you just want to, fuck with everybody that you're playing with too. The ball tag scenes were friggin' hilarious. When we played, we had a barbarian and I was a monk and we had a bard with us, and that's just What
did you think of this party as a D&D expert, Dave? You have your
expert. No.
Can you actually break them down for us real quick? I know we're kind of halfway through the story here, but the ragtag team that we have, how would you break those down as D&D characters, just to kind of class and race?
Well, Grog is an orc barbarian.
Barbarian.
He's just a barbarian.
I don't know if he's an orc, but yeah.
Vex and Vax are rogues.
They're half elves too, I think.
Yeah. One's stabby, one's shooty. Kiki is the druid.
Mm-hmm.
Is she an elf too? Because they had their ears.
Cleric. Kind of... Yeah, the druids. She's probably an elf too. They had a gnome bard and a gnome cleric.
Mm-hmm.
And Percy's probably human.
He's
animacer. I think that might be the class that they do. It's the gun class. There's an alchemist class and a gun class and some other ones out there, but they all line up perfectly. I could picture their character sheets in my head. They all have their dump stats where Grog is just a dump in intelligence, but he's got some wisdom to him a little bit here and there. So, everybody's got their pluses and minuses. So it's cool to see just the game that they played come to life, which, it's every D&D player's dream right there.
It felt like a D&D campaign. You start off fighting a dragon, saving a village, and then, here's the other campaign.
Yeah.
And it's taking on these vampire assholes, and you got to storm the castle. which was cool.
You got to go through some mini bosses on the way. Like this makes me wanna. I want to go back and watch Critical Role now and kind of see.
Yeah, I want to check it out,
dude. It's crazy.
It came from.
There's so in the first campaign, there's 115 episodes, and each of them are like over 3 hours each. So that's a lot.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a lot of shit to go through.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane that they boiled all of that down into 12 25-minute episodes.
Well, because like D&D is a lot slower, where like you may spend an hour or two like just searching a room and discussing what to do next. Like not. It does take time for a lot of this stuff to happen, and like them attacking a dragon could have been the culmination of like a month or two of side missions and prep and all that kind of stuff.
So what's the gag with the doors then? It's like constant.
The doors?
Yeah, and I know that kind of is a throwback to their
failing, like when you're making a lockpick roll, probably. You're making a dexterity check, and sometimes you roll shitty and you can't unlock a door, and sometimes you roll good and
I'm sure this is like
right away.
Flush with like inside jokes that you would understand if you watched, the Critical Role D&D campaign.
I think it is. I think it's like one of their initial things was like trying to get through a door or something like that. I think it's a big throwback to where they started. I think the doors in general. Look it up. Like I didn't know if you guys knew more about it.
Well, even Grog says he hates doors, by the end of it.
They encounter so many doors. Like there's so many doors. One of the last things is a fucking door in a tree. God damn it! It's
true.
It's the whole thing.
Yep.
They get locked in rooms. I love how there's always a moment for one of these guys to do their abilities.
Every party needs a lockpicker.
But what am I thinking? At this point, it's getting pretty close to getting to the vampires. Cassandra has betrayed them. They're getting ready to. And Vex got taken over as well.
Yeah, they're down. Well, at the point where Cass double crosses them, they kind of get trapped in this room where it starts pouring acid into it, and they're kind of trapped and they got to find their way out of it, which I thought that was a really cool scene because like Scanlan has to raise them all up on his magic hand. And
he does his heavy metal. Yeah.
Yep. That was pretty cool. I love that. Like there's an excuse to have like background music while they're doing this thing is, Scanlan playing his song but there's like a story reason why he's actually doing it. And then I love that Grog dived down into the acid to pull that
was
other
cool.
switch
but
while Pike was healing
him
simultaneously.
That was really cool.
Yep. So just the little touches like that.
They had a scene where they had Pike like in front of Hanlon, and they're like fighting the female vampire, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Just like seeing both of their powers like together, because you would duel up together to.
There's a lot of cool team ups in this, which again brings me back to like Guardians of the Galaxy when they're kind of playing off each other and playing off their abilities and everything. But that was really cool. And I feel like this is the point. Well, after they escape that acid chamber, this is kind of the point where everything comes to a head and they have their final battle with the Briarwoods and everything. And hilarity ensues.
What'd you guys think of this final? Because all the fight scenes I think are phenomenal. What'd you guys think of like this as like the big fight?
Everybody plays their part. Everything kind of lines up nicely. I'm curious how this worked out in the campaign.
This fight, there's probably like a video out there of highlights or something from the first campaign because there's no way I'm gonna watch the entire thing. But I would like to watch some of the moments like from the show, like in the actual campaign.
There was one clip I saw, and it was probably just a couple minutes long, but it was basically, at the end when the dragons show up, I guess we'll get to there. Like it just shows them reacting to, Matt Mercer, like as DM explaining the stuff. And it is pretty fucking good. Like,
okay. So cool. I was wondering, we'll come back, but skipping to the end, like, is that how they actually ended the campaign with
I don't know.
Cliffhanger? Okay, because I'm really curious how that works because
that's a hell of a cliffhanger.
They end this season with a cliffhanger, but there's not going to be a season 2 because wraps up the campaign, right?
When Amazon picked them up, it was 2 seasons. They moved it from 10 to 24 4, I believe. So it's 2 seasons of 12. So there's.
So is this not like the entirety of
there's
the first
already
campaign?
a season 2. Like I don't know. The characters just keep going and going until they reach level 20 in godhood. And they can do whatever they want then.
I was just curious about that, of where, like, if the actual campaign keeps going. But okay, that's cool that there is a season 2.
I mean, that's probably more of a longer, like that's the longer campaign. Like the dragon in the beginning may have just been a setup for the whole thing. But I guess we want to jump back like to the big battle.
Yeah, they all kind of it's like everybody that you get the brother and sister Vex going against each other. Yeah, so they're going against each other. Yep, I know. It's a joke in the show, and it's a joke in this because I'm struggling to say it on here. They're going against each other because he's possessed and she's trying to snap him out of it. You get the female vampire going against the 2 gnomes and their powers because she silenced him. I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, so those 2 are taking her on, and then Silas is fighting.
Well, first he's fighting. Who is he fighting? I forget. I think Percy tried to take him on, but then he couldn't. So I know Grog.
Percy's fighting Cassandra.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Because yeah, she's still under his control. Cassandra is still under Silas's control at this point.
I think it's like Calith, Pike, and Grog all take their turns fighting him, and I guess Grog eventually at the end.
Grog's the one that fucks him up.
When it turns the tides, yeah.
Right, but he's knocked out for a while, though, I think.
Yeah.
Part of the battle.
Beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like that. I feel like, Keyleth as a character she's always like doubting herself. She always thinks she can't do something, but I mean, multiple times throughout this season, she's shown like, that if she believes in herself, she can do it, which is kind of like the message throughout all of these characters. Like if they kind of have to believe in themselves. With Pike, she kind of had to figure out who she is so she could, regain her power from the Everlight and everything. And then Percy, same thing.
Right after the vampires,
they all had their
they
all have their like moments where like they realize, who they are and that they can do it if they work together and all this stuff. So it's kind of cool that each character had their moment. And Keyleth really had her moment when she, blasted the light at Silas and disintegrated his ass.
Just pretty badass. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that Grog's like, I can take it. Poor guy, just holding him, just getting fried.
Well, Barbarian takes half damage.
Oh,
and
if you're raging, you take half damage from all sorts of.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
That's the kind of shit we need to know. And Keyleth sacrificed herself to save Vex when
Vex has been nothing but kind of hard on her the whole time.
Mm.
Yeah. When Delilah shot her whatever magic out at Vex, Keyleth jumped in front of her and saved her. So she made a pretty crazy sacrifice there.
Yeah.
I was wondering if any of these characters were actually going to die. I mean, like I said, I don't know what happens in the campaign itself, but I'm glad that they all kind of made it through. There was a couple points where it was iffy for some of them. And again, I'm like, how many death saving throws are they making at this point in their campaign when Keyleth is dying on the floor? But
it's all for drama there.
It's all, yeah, exactly. All that stuff is fun.
I mean, but they kill Silas. You got Delilah left, and you kind of end up wrapping up the Percy story in the final episode.
She runs to the Lord of Whisper or the Whispered One or whatever, right? And
she's trying to cast the big spell,
but it's like she's not strong enough, or he denies her or something like that.
I don't know if like the stars weren't lined up. They were trying to get some sort of astral thing.
Well, there's another kind of a cliffhanger because like she does summon something, and it's this weird fucking orb, this spinning orb.
Yep.
That's just sitting there, and then I don't know. It's like blocking all the magic and everything.
Don't touch it, like that one guy did.
Dude, yeah, because they sent some people to investigate it, and we see this dude get sucked into the orb, and all his flesh gets ripped off.
Oh, gross.
So yeah, I was wondering what was up with that orb by the end of it, because they never really. That's another one of the cliffhangers, that and the dragons at the end there. So there's some stuff to latch onto for season 2.
Yeah, definitely. Between that and the dragons when they're back at the they're back at the town kind of celebrating, and they see, 3 or 4 dragons on their way in.
Oh, yeah, that we saw.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just, cuts. So, we know that we already are getting a season 2. So we got another 12 episodes probably getting spun together right now. And then I guess we'll see about season 3. But, the way things are going, it seems like it's gotten a pretty positive reception.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fantastic
Did you guys have a favorite character? Like, who did you kind of root for the whole show?
I just like Grog because he was a lovable oaf. Like I always. He just wants to drink. Just wants to have a good time. And like he's, just kind of doing his thing, smashing dudes.
I kind of love Scanlan because Scanlan was pretty kind of close to my character for the D&D campaign. I was there
you go.
Drunken monk variant of the halfling descent, so it was pretty close. But they all have their redeeming qualities too.
Yeah, like I said, they all get their moment. They all have a little bit of their backstory showing, which kind of makes me appreciate each one of them. What about you, Brandon?
I don't know, Percy or Vex. I rooted for kind of both of them. I like both of the characters. I got way more Percy storytelling.
Yeah,
backstory and all that stuff than I did Vex. Vex is just, she has a bond with her brother, doesn't want to share her brother with Kiki. So, and I think she has a thing for Percy. But other than that, I thought she was just cool. I don't know. She's just always like,
I think it's because they're like,
it seems like she's just nice to him.
The 2 adults of the group.
True. Definitely the adults of the group. But I thought she had a cool scene where the one guy's like, he's like, yo, you're pretty good with a bow and arrow. You want to have a private lesson or something like that? It's like, maybe it's a long shot, and then she shoots through him, shoots through his arrow as he shoots at her, and goes right into his forehead and stuff like that. And it's just like, she's just like I don't know. I always love an archer. Like, that's what I play in those kind of games. I like to be either a thief or an archer.
Well,
I just think it's cool. So
we'd make a pretty good D&D party then if we all are choosing different classes. I still want to do that.
Oh my god, a berserker, a bard, and a
still want to do that as a bonus episode.
Everybody should
a little D&D.
Should have a little side game.
I've never played D&D in my life. That sounds
dude. I would love it. I think it'd be so fun.
It's fun. It's like it's like not even a choose your own adventure. It's a make your own adventure, and
exactly.
You just
need to find a DM.
Our DM always, my DM always says that he's weaving a tapestry where like everybody's a different thread, and as the story evolves, the story evolves. So you just gotta change things and adapt because you figure you're only getting through so much of a story in a session. So you could make a crazy decision to not do something completely and go.
Dude, listening,
you're always able to plan for the next. So.
Just listening to the Critical Role and the Adventure Zone and seeing some of this, that's to be some crazy talent to be a DM and come up with these stories in every imaginable situation that you could find yourself in. It's really impressive.
Dragon's bigger than ever. It's bigger now than ever before. I think, right? I think COVID
did,
especially kind of put a
give
it a shot in the arm.
It's pretty cool once you start learning more about D&D. I feel like now that I have, you kind of start to see the Matrix a little bit, especially on video games. Like every RPG video game out there owes itself to D&D because those mechanics are straight from
baked into everything.
All the basis of it.
Totally.
So I feel like now that I'm learning more about it, I'm starting to appreciate that stuff a lot more, which is cool.
Next episode, you're gonna hop on Discord and you're gonna be on video all dressed up as a knight or something like that.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I'm a half elf.
Get my character sheet ready.
Oh
nice.
boy!
Well,
oh boy!
Do we have any final reactions to this? I think we kind of said what we need to say generally and plot wise.
I would definitely recommend it to anyone interested in you don't even have to be interested in D&D to like this show or get anything good out of it.
They catered it nicely to people that are already familiar with it and people that are fresh to it. So it kind of it's the best of both worlds.
Right. I'm sure this is gold for people who followed the Critical Role campaigns through and through.
Absolutely.
Because like for me, I mean, the Adventure Zone is that for me. Like if they did an animated Adventure Zone series,
I would love that. It would be so good.
I mean, I know they have done like the graphic novels for a couple of their campaigns, which I do want to check out. But like if they did an animated series, that'd be awesome. So yeah, I can't imagine the fans of Critical Role, their reaction to this has to be great. And yeah, to anyone who's interested in like fantasy, any type of stuff like that, like I would highly recommend it. As long as you're okay with violence and vulgarity, then this is for you.
Who isn't?
Crude humor.
Yeah. Well, it's known to happen in the realms. So, all right. Well, that will wrap up the Legend of Vox Machina. I'm sure I'll probably be peeking into season 2 whenever that does come out.
Definitely.
But yeah, this will wrap up Act 2, and we'll be back with a game for Act 3.
Oh boy.
Ooh. Shortly after this. And we're back for Act 3 of the Nomads of Fantasy, where I put together a little game for the boys. We're playing, something, I think it's like fantasy based, because there's always riddles involved in everything. There's riddles in Lord of the Rings. There's always some cryptic message going on. So we're going to play a little game of Riddle Me This. I have a list of 100 riddles in front of me. And each of the players will roll a D100 on their turn, and we will pick one off the list. And I'll give you, a couple minutes to think about it. We won't leave all of that in here.
Oh,
obviously.
do I get to edit all that out?
Yeah.
And you'll have to edit in a nice dice roll sound effect.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
It'll be fantastic. And then if you guess wrong, I'll give the other person a chance to steal. And then, we'll do 3 questions each, and we'll just see what happens from there. So,
do we want to roll for who goes first?
Yeah, why don't you guys roll?
All right, I'm going to roll. I want to roll my physical D100 here, I swear. I got an 81.
Ooh, that's good.
We got a 7.
Is
that bad? Is that bad?
Eric, you go first.
All right.
Give me a dice roll, and let me see what you got
All right.
there.
Let me get a good roll here. That's a 61.
61. Let us see.
You have to say these riddles in a creepy voice. What goes up but never goes down?
Well, okay, yeah, I can give you some. All right there, youngin'. The more you take out, the bigger I get. What am I? The Witch of the Wilds. I don't know.
The more you take out, the bigger I get.
The more you take out, the bigger I get. What am I?
Huh. So if I guess, Brandon will
be
get
ready
a chance to steal.
Be ready to steal. Okay.
I haven't. I have something. I think I know what it is.
I don't know.
One more time.
Oh, hold on. These are I gotta think of the theme here. These are vaguely fantasy based.
Well,
right?
I mean, no, I don't know if all of them are.
Not all of them. Okay.
Fantasy based.
Okay.
Some of them are.
For some reason, I'm stuck on this. I think it's wrong. But
let's hear it.
Credit card debt.
It is not credit card debt. No.
Damn it.
Brandon, do you have any idea of the more you take out, the bigger I get?
I want to say a hole.
A hole? is correct, Brandon.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Yep. Now that
so sneaky.
Good job.
Nice work. Fantastic. All right, Brandon steals a point in the initial round. Let's get a roll out of you there, Brando.
Oh, sure. Let me
get your die
dust
ready.
it off.
You
this
guys
is
are
old.
so
It's been in my family for so long.
So disappointing.
Let me roll here.
I am sick to
I
myself.
rolled a 27.
27. Okay, that looks accurate.
What do you mean it looks accurate? What does that even mean?
All right.
Yep, that's a number.
That's a number.
Between 1 and 100.
That's what the screen says. All right, here you go, young man. 40 white horses on a red hill. They champ, they stamp, and then they stand still.
What the fuck's the riddle?
Come on. If you're going to do that... Oh, was that your Bilbo Baggins impression?
No, it was just me reading the question.
Oh.
There was no question.
40 white horses on a red hill. They champ, they stamp, and then stand still.
Yeah, it's your teeth. It's Bilbo.
Is it really?
It's in The Hobbit. You just watched the Hobbit movies. This was
I must
the whole when he got the that was in The Hobbit.
It is the teeth.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, your teeth are white. Your red are gums. Yep. I know a lot of riddles, so
I apparently suck at riddles.
Here.
I think I'm in trouble.
But that one's in them. I thought you. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that or not.
No, I'm maybe I was out of the room for that part. I don't know.
I should be like Gollum. Oh, subtle habits.
Yes, please, more of that. All right, Eric, back to you.
Oh boy!
Brandon
all right, it's 2-0.
Brandon is the riddle master. I thought you'd you've been playing Batman Arkham Asylum. You've been dealing with the Riddler lately, so.
That is true. All right, let me roll my D100
I like how
here.
you shake your hand like you're actually gonna roll.
What do you mean? I have a physical die in my hand right now. That's a 45.
That was quick.
Let's fully work. All right. Yeah, this looks like a good one, I guess. Sure. Passed from father to son and shared between brothers. Its importance is unquestioned, though it is used more by others.
I've never heard that, but that's good.
Passed from father to son and shared between brothers. Its importance is unquestioned, though it is used more by others. Brandon looks like he's ready. He's ready to snatch this one right out.
That one's pretty good. I like that. I haven't heard that one before, but I think I know what it is.
I don't feel confident.
No, I mean it's a gettable one. Yeah,
Is it? I don't know.
Do you want it one more time?
Is it like your last name? That's what I'm going with.
It is a name, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
I think last name specifically, which was what you said.
Yeah. Passed from father to son, shared between brothers.
Okay.
That's the big one.
Oh, there you go, Eric.
Sweet. I got one.
Okay.
That's all I wanted.
2-1. Brandon, we're over to you for a roll.
Okay. Gonna roll here. Oh, almost went off the table, but it didn't.
That doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Right on the edge.
Okay.
Yep. 42.
42. Oh, it's close. All right. This one's a little tricky.
Gotta get ready to steal.
It's not as straightforward as some other ones, but it is a journey whose path depends on an other's vision of where it ends.
That's a good one.
It is.
If I was high right now, I feel like I'd get these.
Say it again.
It'd melt your brain. It is a journey whose path depends on an other's visions of where it ends. Feels like a tongue twister at the same time too. A journey whose paths depend on an other's vision of where it ends.
I'll just go with yesterday.
No, that is incorrect. I like that. I like that though.
All right, give it to me one more time.
It's a journey whose path depends on an other's vision of where it ends. Would you like it once in my old lady voice?
Oh yes, I would love that.
It is a journey whose path depends on an other's vision of where it ends.
Is it? Maybe I'm
Did that help?
Maybe I'm thinking too simple here. Is it a road?
No, it is not a road.
Damn it.
Close. I would have accepted 2. They have a book. I would have accepted a story as well.
Oh, okay.
Because basically it's a journey for you, but it depends on who the storyteller actually is.
So, okay. I gotcha.
So that was a little trickier, but still nonetheless gettable.
All right.
Over to Eric.
All right, I got a chance to tie here.
Is this number 3?
This is
question 3, yes.
All right. Let me get my die here. I gotta find it really quick. Okay, here it is.
You keep them lying around. You can lose them on the side.
It's a 59.
All right. This one looks like a good one. Okay. I am what's desired above all fame and wealth. Without me, it's assured that you'll begin to lose your health. I'm not a fluid dancer, but you can put me on a shelf. What am I? All right, again from the top.
That was
again from the top.
Okay, yeah.
I am what's desired above all fame and wealth. Without me, it is assured that you'll begin to lose health. I'm not a fluid dancer, but you can put me on a shelf.
Put me on a shelf.
Desired above fame and wealth. Without me, you'll begin to lose health. And you can put me on a shelf. What?
Oh boy, this seems...
With a hard W. What am I?
That's a good one.
Without it, you'll never get into the mines of Moria.
Oh no.
Desired above food or fame and wealth. Without me, it is assured you'll begin to lose health. Not a fluid dancer. Put me on a shelf.
The shelf thing is throwing me off.
Same.
I don't want to give any hints here. You gotta play fairsies.
All right, Dave, do it in an old man voice.
Maybe that'll help me.
Old man voice. Oh man. I am what's desired above all fame and wealth. Without me, it's assured that you'll begin to lose your health. I'm not a fluid dancer, but you can put me on a shelf. What am I? Ooh, that's gravelly.
Dude, that's been smoking for 70 years.
Get a little vocal fry in there. The deep, manly vocal fry.
All right.
It's desired above all fame and wealth, Eric. Come on.
I know.
This is easy.
This is easy.
I like that I picked the tough game, then I can just make you guys suffer.
This is a real brain buster.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it and you're gonna be like, I am such an asshole.
I know. That's how every single
what riddle
is. Yeah.
You almost never want to hear it until you you want to walk away and come back in like an hour and be like, damn, that's what it was.
Yep.
But
let's see. How about I don't even have a guess.
All right.
Hold on.
You can pass.
I will guess. I will guess something though, just so I throw something out there. I don't know. Your brain. I don't fucking know.
Your brain is incorrect.
I mean, if you're dead, you can take it out and put it on a shelf.
Gollum would murder you at this point.
Yeah, I already died like 3 times.
Brandon, you got anything?
Oh boy, I'm with you, Eric. I was gonna go with brain, last name, or legacy. So I'll just go with legacy.
Can you put your legacy on a shelf?
I don't know. Yeah, sure, with a photo or something like that, or a crest.
You can't.
All right.
I'm sorry. What you can put on a shelf, which you will lose health, is food.
Oh, come on.
Desired above all fame and wealth. All you want. Everybody just wants food and water. Without me, it's assured you'll be getting
I don't know. Have you ever met an anorexic? Those people might.
No, but all right. We'll do one last one just for shits and giggles. You did win already, Brandon. Technically,
I won.
I guess Eric could
2-1.
Eric could steal it and tie it. I guess technically.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
So give me let me get a dice roll out of you.
72.
72. Ooh, this sounds like a good number.
I hope it is. Oh boy.
All right. What is long? No.
What is long, brown, and sticky?
Oh, God.
I've heard this one before.
I feel like I have too.
What's
really
is
stupid?
long, brown,
That could be-
and sticky?
That could be any number of things.
It's a stick.
That is correct.
Okay.
It is a stick.
Ha.
Long, brown.
Sticks aren't sticky. I guess
sticky.
That's stupid.
Yep.
Come on.
Hey,
when he said
number 7,
sticky, it hit me. I was like, oh.
He rolled the 72. That's when it is. So.
Oh boy.
Well, thank you guys for playing my silly games. I thought, I wanted to get some dice rolling involved in here tonight since we were talking about Vox. So
that was fun.
I figured it was something a little different, but I guess
I'm glad I got at least one.
Yeah. I think you guys did pretty good. There wasn't any too long delays. So, Eric, I guess why don't you give us a real quick social shout out and we'll get out of here.
Sure. You can find us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Nomads of Fantasy, TikTok, at the Nomads of Fantasy.
Eric
And
does a lot
you can
of
also find
fancy
us-
dances on TikTok. Go over there and check it out.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. And you could check out the nomadsoffantasy.com for all things nomads.
Fantastic.
Yep, that's all I got.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Anything else for this week?
No. What are we doing next week? Do we even know, or is it we just kind of winging it this next episode?
I don't know what's on
coming
the
up?
calendar.
I know we have an indie spotlight for indie video games that we keep pushing back, but okay. Well, if we don't know, that's fine. Other than that, I don't know. Safe travels, nomads.
Safe travels, nomads.
Utini.
2, 3, 4. Give me a tug. I don't really know what you're thinking when you're looking at a gnome like me. Oh, but I can show you something special. Whoa! You loadies and you ladies can't see. Got a twinkle in my eye. That's right. Hit the lights and you'll find a surprise. 'Cause there is something underneath my drawers. Come on, let your fingers explore. Pull on my motherfucking beats. Pull on my motherfucking beats. I know that you're thinking about me. Ow! 'Cause your curiosity has been piqued. I may be 42 inches of sexy, but I'm 69 feet of freak. I'm not gonna tell you to stop. I'm feeling good, going in, going out. You wanna hear something pop? Well, give me a tug, and good God, I shall pull on my motherfucking beats. Pull on my motherfucking beats. Woo! Good night, Iman.
Was that a fart?
It was.
Yeah.
All right, we're restarting this. Thought I heard. I was trying to gloss over it.
I couldn't ignore that. Okay, this is going at the end of the episode.
I need a game name for this.
Oh.
All right.
My stomach is in knots.
Are you that nervous about this game?
No, I think it's the combination of Oreo cookies, milk, and Gatorade.
Oh, that's a bad combo.
It's a healthy boy right there.
All right. Anywho.